All right. So thanks for taking the time to sit down with me, Axel. Just want to jump right into what we got to show you today, all right?
Fantastic.
I did bring an agenda so you know what to expect from our time together today, so I want to go over that briefly. Go over a little bit about the company, Mutual of Omaha. I talked to you on the phone briefly. You said you'd heard of us before.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, great. So I'm going to go a little bit more about our financial strength, things of that nature. Also, the process I use, which hopefully you'll find different than some other folks you may have sat down with in the past.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is go over a needs identification analysis. So basically going to ask you and your wife a whole lot of questions about where you're currently at in your financial situation, of course where you want to be in the future, and it's my job to help get you there. Then we're going to go into a budget determination. Basically, what are you guys willing to commit each month to your plan to make sure that you guys are going to have the things you want in your future. And that's really where we're going to stop today. As I did tell you on the telephone, I have a policy. I don't believe in doing business the first time I meet with folks. So today's meeting is really just exploratory. I want to show you what we do here, how I work with my clients, and I really want to find out about you guys and what your needs are and where you're currently at.
Okay.
Sound fair enough?
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. If that goes well and we meet again, what I would do is bring back some ideas for discussion at a later date. And what those would be is basically what I think would be some good solutions to help you guys get where you need to go financially. If you agree those are the appropriate solutions for you and your family, we take the next step at that time, which usually involves filling out an application, getting into underwriting, things like that.
Okay.
If I am fortunate enough to earn your business, I have two expectations, very simple. Number one, I want to keep you guys current. So I want to meet up at least once a year, face-to-face, just to let you know what's changed in our industry. I'm sure things are going to change in your life, right?
Sure, yeah, they do yearly.
Yeah, so I want to make sure we're still doing right by you. My other expectation is that if you find value in what I'm able to do for your family, I would humbly ask that you would refer me to similar folks like yourselves that do build my business that way, opposed to cold calling people at dinner time. So
sure, yeah, well that's annoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Nobody likes that.
So. No one likes that, but yeah, definitely, that sounds great.
Any questions on any of that so far?
Oh no, not so far. I think I'm squared away.
Very good. I'll get right into it. So a little bit about Mutual of Omaha. We have been around for 102 years now. Just celebrated our 102nd birthday. So.
Wow.
Not Dave's Fly-by-Night Financial Services. Benefits that we paid out in 2008 was $2.8 billion. So our claims department's busy scratching checks for a little over $7 million daily.
Wow.
So things happen. We're here to pay. That's what we're here for. Show you some other big numbers here. Assets under management, $21.2 billion. I'm not going to quiz you on this, but you can take a look and see that obviously we're a stable company and have a lot to work with. Familiar with any of these three rating services down at the bottom?
Vaguely. I've heard of them. I don't exactly know what they do.
Okay, great. Basically what they do in a simplistic fashion is they grade insurance companies based on financial solitude, ability to pay claims, and customer satisfaction. So you may not know the details of the rating system, but if you had your choice of doing business with a company with a lot of A's versus B's and C's, I'm assuming that would be your preference, right?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we are very highly rated by all the rating agencies. We are a brick and mortar company, so just to show you, we have a home office here in Omaha, Nebraska. Not sure if you've ever had the pleasure.
No, actually, I never have.
All right.
Never had a reason to be out that way.
Yeah.
Here's some good bars, though.
Yeah, okay. Probably is. I go back a couple times a year for trainings and what have you, but there's actually a lot going on. Omaha's a great town, so they just always seem to send me in the winter when it's negative 200 degrees. But
looks a lot bigger than I imagined it to be.
Yeah.
There on the picture. So yeah, really cool.
Okay, Creighton University.
These are your buildings here in the forefront, I imagine.
These two right here, yeah, with the logos on them. This is the large one. This is actually the tallest building in Omaha. So
cool.
Yeah, been there a long time.
Cool.
Just a little bit about our kind of sponsorship, things we try to get involved in. I'm sure you heard of Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom before.
Yeah. Little too young to have seen the show, but yeah. I mean that's yeah. I think everybody knows about that.
Right. Now it's Survivor Man and Man vs. Wild and all that. But yeah, originally it was just Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. We started the trend. So
yeah, pretty cool.
But yeah, that's actually still out. It's re-released on Animal Planet, same time slot. Obviously, it's just narrated now. There's no Marlon Perkins, but still there. And we're the official corporate sponsor of the USA Swim Team.
Awesome.
They actually hold the national trials out there in Omaha every year. So
really,
swimming's kind of a big deal.
Michael Phelps fan, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right, so getting down to it, when we talk about building folks' financial security, we liken that to building a house. So if you were to construct a house, where would you begin?
Well, the ground floor, most likely. I mean, that's where I'd begin.
Yeah, good point. That's exactly where we're going to start here. When we talk about your financial house, that foundation or ground floor is what we call protection management. We want to provide protection in the event of you or your wife's untimely death or disability. So if either of those catastrophes happen, we want to make sure the rest of the financial plan is able to move forward.
Okay.
Kids are still able to go to school, surviving spouse is still able to retire, all if there's business goals, anything like that. So that's a very important piece. Second level is debt management, eliminating bad debt as fast as possible to help free up cash flow. Once again, if there's too much money going into any one of these tiers, there's not enough going into the others. So trying to get a good balance there. Asset management, securing funds for retirement, children's college education, any other savings or investment goals would fall into here. And the roof is wealth management, getting that estate distribution plan, making sure you don't outlive your money in retirement, and then also when you do ultimately pass on, who are your funds going to go to, what's the most tax-friendly way for that to exchange hands.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Any questions, anything so far?
No, not a fan.
Okay, great. What I'd like to do at this point is show you an actual financial needs analysis that we did for a client out of our office. And the reason I want to do that is I think it'll give you guys a good understanding of how I work with my clients, what I might be able to do for you.
Okay.
This is an actual client, but we did obviously change their names to protect their privacy, so we're not parading all over town. So we're just going to call these folks John and Mary Smith. Okay. A couple disclosures here, table of contents. So I'll give you their stats. John and Mary, as we're calling them, both 35 years old. Both wish to retire at age 65, so pretty typical. They had two small children under the age of 10, Alex and Stephanie. They're both working full-time, with John earning $40,000 per year and Mary earning $30,000. Okay. On the next page here, we'll talk about their assets. John had a 401k through his job with $52,000. He put $250 a month into that, and his company matched 100%. Okay. Mary had an IRA with $23,000 in it, and she was not currently contributing to it.
Okay.
Okay. Their insurance situation, disability insurance. Mary had both a short and a long-term policy through her job. John didn't have any. I'll kind of talk more about that in a second. And then life insurance, neither of them had anything outside of work.
Okay.
Liabilities, the big one being the mortgage, right?
Yeah, definitely.
$195,000 there. Other miscellaneous debts were together about $42,717. And down here, you'll just kind of see some interest rates, inflation, savings rates. Those are just some assumptions we use for this analysis. These are completely customized, so when we do one for you, obviously, we can tweak those, but these are pretty standard. So. All right, so net worth. What does that term mean to you?
That's a total of all the things you own, your home, the money in your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's it, right?
Yeah, that minus everything you owe someone else.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Right, liabilities. So
Okay.
yeah, if you were to cash out and sell everything and pay off everybody, what do you get to walk away with?
Probably not much.
Well, yeah, that's my job to fix that.
Okay.
So, with John and Mary's situation, their assets were their retirement accounts and the value of their home at $315,000, and their liabilities were what we talked about on the last page, the credit cards and their home debt there. So if they sold this and paid off these, they'd have $190,000 of net worth.
Okay.
That's not terrible at age 35, but we really need to get that number a lot larger if they're going to be able to have the kind of retirement they want. And I'll show you that a little later on in the presentation.
Okay.
Kind of staying on that same subject, what do you think most people would say if we asked them, what is your greatest financial asset?
I believe it would be your home. I mean, it's the largest number on the page.
Yeah, 315, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot bigger than their
Sure.
retirement account. And that's what we get. A lot of folks we ask that, that's their answer. And we have a kind of a different answer, and we believe your largest financial asset is actually your ability to earn an income.
Okay.
Especially at this age, because John's got and Mary's have 30 more working years left in their life. And if we just said they make $50,000 a year and never got a raise ever, which would be pretty terrible, over 30 years, that's $1.5 million that they're yet to earn. earning potential, and it's also $1.5 million they will never earn if they get disabled and cannot work.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? So on this page, this kind of talks about, there's some graphs here with basically your likelihood of being disabled at a few different ages. But I'll draw your attention down here. Very simply, this blue line shows John and Mary's expenses. The blue line is their income. The red line is their expenses. And this candy cane in the middle is basically a disability happening. So when that happens, the income's going to drop off because obviously that person can't go to work. The expenses are going to shoot through the roof with medical bills and maybe another spouse having to take time off work to care for the other spouse. And that can really derail your plan. No matter how good your savings is, how good the rest of the plan is, if you don't have that foundation set in, you just lost $1.5 million of capital you're yet to earn. I mean, that's going to ruin anybody's financial plans. So that's why this is an important part, and this is why it is part of the foundation. So what we took a look at is what they'd want replaced should something happen. And they said they'd want about 80% of Mary's income replaced if she were to become disabled, and about 60% of John's income.
Okay.
The thinking behind that is that those figures would replicate their current net income,
Okay.
right, after tax pay. John did not have any coverage through work, as I mentioned earlier, so this big red block is basically everything we need to make up. So 60% of his pay, we were able to write a disability income policy that would pay him out 60% of his income in the event he couldn't go to work. That 60%, because it's purchased with after-tax dollars through us, is actually a tax-free benefit. So that would pretty much replicate his net income.
Okay.
Mary, you can see she's got some blue. She did have coverage through work, short and long term, which is great. And that covered 60% of her pay, but because that's a benefit through her employer and bought with pre-tax dollars, that's actually taxable. So she would get 60% of her pay minus taxes,
Okay.
so it would not replicate her net pay.